Pesquext, Pitzia. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
We'll do a song here in just a minute here. The song goes back about 160 some years, back to the late 1850s when our people were fighting for their way of life. Just like the sign up here says, sacred land. Our people at that time still do see our land as sacred, the water being sacred. So our people fought to try to preserve their way of life back in the 1850s. And that's where the song comes from. The song, when I sing the song, I think of people like Carol, Deb, Darlene, others that try to preserve culture best we can. Because when this warrior sang the song the last time, they would end his life. And imagine that when he sang the song, he thought about, would this be the end of Indian people? That Europeans were coming to America, to the Northwest, and taking their land and everything, that was this going to be the end? So I imagine having a noose around your neck, knowing that when you finish the song, your life's going to end. And in that time, I think he thought, would there be people 100 years from then, and they would now that still retain language, culture, customs, ceremonies, beliefs that people did back then? So I think his song was kind of a prayer reaching out, touching hearts of many people. Every tribe now has, I think, a language program trying to revive the language. And some tribes don't have any elders anymore. They have a lot of documents and recordings, but all their elders have passed on that teach the language. We've got a couple left that are up there in years and have health issues, but we've still got a few people that still were around to hear the elders speak many years ago. But some tribes, they've lost all the elders. So that word sacred means a lot of things to Indian people. So when I sing the song, I think about those that are working for the tribe, any tribe, the best way can to preserve the culture, language, history. Another long ago came to the Spokane tribe, another tribe, he had a concern. He said, when the day comes when Indian people stop speaking the language, stop ceremonies, the government may come and take your land, saying there's no Indian people. Because what makes it different from all other people is our culture, language, history. We share that with other Indian people, but no one else in America has our unique culture that we try to hang on to. Well, that's one thing what Carol was talking about. My teachings, I've learned from my teachings with elders and spiritual leaders and other things, talking about when you leave this world, you can't leave with hate, anger, jealousy in your heart. You may cross over, but you don't go to the final doors. You have a waiting time until something happens that you're allowed to go to the final doors because you left this world with hate, anger, jealousy, greed, whatever it is that makes you tick, or makes you tick in this world. So when you die, you may cross over, but you don't go through the pearly gates because you left with anger, hate, jealousy, greed in your heart. And I've learned that from dreams shared with me from other people that seen us on the other side that didn't cross over because didn't make it all the way because they left with anger, hate, jealousy, and greed. So I keep that in mind that many people in America claim to be Christians, but yet they still hate other people because of the color of the skin, their religion, those kind of things. They hardly believe that they call themselves Christians, but they hate other people because of the different religion, skin color, language, that kind of stuff. So I keep in mind when I hear people talk about, when they pray about people that, when we leave this world, our soul's got to be pure, our heart's got to be pure. Every time we sweat, we ask Topia, the grandfather, to take any anger, hate, jealousy we have in our heart and our soul, that they be cleansed, so that if we make a journey the next day, then we'll have a clear road to get the other side where answers are waiting. But if we leave this world with anger, hate, jealousy, greed, all those things that make people sometimes mistreat other people in bad ways, and sometimes they have a hard time getting to the final part of the journey to catch up with their ancestors. So I keep those thoughts in mind. So I've learned a lot from my culture, from teaching from elders that have been around. Like Carol said, I knew her dad was my cousin. Deb later on, I knew her dad, just two great men that served in the Korean War. And they were sent there to do their job. They come back. They never came back with good, big hearts. I mean, they're good men. I mean, they didn't come back with anger, hate, jealousy. They just came back and raised families and worked hard and really outstanding men that served the country and came back and became a good role model for me to look up to. And like Carol said today, they're releasing salmon. That's that took a long time in the making to make that happen. Once they built Cooley Dam, the salmon stopped coming up. So today they're releasing salmon in the Shimmigan area, and I think Call was about the Keller area, the ferry. They're releasing salmon up there. I was asked to be there today, but I said, well, I had to be here today because I committed to be here. So it's a big day for our tribe to call the people to have salmon back in the river, and maybe in time the salmon will go back up to their ancestral spawning grounds, and we'll have salmon again in time to come. So that's just really a fantastic thing to witness to happen today in our waters. So I'm glad to be here today just to share the song. I guess my nephew Barry sang this someplace, and so I heard him sing the song, and they really touched their heart. He's out doing something else today, couldn't be here, so I'm kind of filling in for him. And he's another one that's, in a few years, he's learned the language fairly well, and he teaches it to other teachers that are wanting to teach other kids, so he's done a great job as far as starting from point A to getting to point C, D, whatever you want to call it, on the scale to be improved, to be one of our people that knows all of the language structure. This area we're at here, because of the falls, because Chet, meaning fast water, the falls, everything has a name. Chet, that's the name of this area a long time ago for our people. Instead of Spokane, it was called Chet because of the falls. And this is a big fishing camp many years ago for salmon. Salmon was a big part of our diet a long time ago. I was talking to someone that came and talked to me the other day that they said their Silo, their grandfather, we had a fish market here in Spokane. They have fish scraps. They come and buy the fish scraps. That was just how that one that taste of fish. They go to the fish market, fish scraps, go and boil and fish scraps, and it was. I remember those times too when elders come to the fish market and buy fish scraps, and they were happy just to have those because it was just brought back good memories of the fish that were no longer in the rivers a long time ago. Just how strong that diet for fish is still in our hearts, in our mouth. The taste of salmon, the halibut, the trout, those kind of fish. So this song is sometimes called the chief song, and it's called the hangman song. And if you read about history, a guy named Colonel Wright come to the area, and he came to seek revenge for the defeat of Colonel Steptoe by the allied forces of the Spokanes, Corleans, Kalispills, and some of the Yakimas. They defeated Steptoe and made the U.S. Army retreat. And that was a big embarrassment to the U.S. government and Colonel Steptoe. So when he came to the Northwest, he came to seek revenge because of Steptoe being defeated by warriors that had basically bows and arrows and not any real guns or rifles. So he came to seek revenge and did a lot of real severe things to the people. But the one thing he did was slaughter 800 horses up to the state line. And if you did that today, it'd be a big news story if someone did that today to go and kill 800 horses. He did that because that was the Spokane's way of mobility to get around. They call it the horse slaughter area up near the Idaho and Washington state line. Really sad story that happened, Well, anyway, the story goes that the warriors turned themselves in because Colonel Wright had taken some chiefs and people captive. So, being of honor, the warriors came in to hope to get a fair hearing for a trial, but within minutes they were going to be hung. So one story goes that they asked one warrior if he had anything to say. He said no. That second warrior, if he had anything to say, he said no. The third one said no, but he had a song to sing. So I say, imagine you being that warrior, knowing that when you finish a song, your life will end. The song could have been his prayer song, his medicine song, his death song. But I think the song reached out and touched the hearts like Deb, Carol, Darlene, other people that work for a tribe, preserving the language culture in forestry, in fisheries, and gaming, trying to keep they speak for the animals, the fish, the deer, the elk, the gaming department, they do their part. The people in the forestry try to avoid any clear cuts. So they're, in a sense, trying to respect the land as much as they can. but still harvest the timber, still harvest the fish and game, but try to put limits and not have them wiped out in just a few short years. But I think the song reached out to many people that are trying to revive the language in other tribes. Just a couple weeks ago, we had a language conference at Sadie School, and a guy from the Human Facilities up here named Thomas Morning Owl. There's only 3 of them left that speak the language anymore, but they were here to give a talk to the people out here that they themselves took themselves to stand up and try to teach the young kids their language, because language is who you are. If you ever hear the elders speak sometimes, they can speak in a way to touch your heart. You can tell a story in English, but when you tell it in Salish, in Spokane, you can just imagine, you get more feeling of the story when they speak in their own language, called Salish. So I'm glad many tribes are having immersion schools and programs to revitalize and bring back language to Indian people. And it's a beautiful thing to witness here. People, my nephew talk, other young teachers are speaking. It's just really good to be around people that are using the language. But this is a song that was sung, been passed down to honor veterans, to elders, those that achieve good things with the tribe. So it's sometimes called chief song, or the hangman song. But again, imagine, if you will, this warrior with noose around his neck, wondering what will happen to his people in the future. But luckily, Salmon are maybe coming back, language may be coming back again. So a lot of good things are happening. Long ways to go yet. We've lost a lot of things. We lost this land area, land base. We've still got a piece of land we call Kastuli, or reservation. So we're happy to have what we have. We could have nothing. We ought to be happy with what we have left to make the best of it. So we sing this song to honor all of you for being here, for veterans. I myself served in Vietnam with the Army, with the Sniper unit. So I remember a lot of good memories of good people that were there. Some didn't come back, but the ones that came back with a lot of mental scars of what they had to do to stay alive in the jungles. My cousin Richard Eli was with the 101st Airborne in a battle called Hamburger Hill. He came back with a lot of emotional scars of what he had to do and take part in just to stay alive. It was a tough ordeal for him to come back and have to have nightmares and those kind of things that really, plagued him most of into his life. It was a tough deal. So we think of all those people too that have come back. Some with physical injuries and some but with emotional scars that had to endure to do the job in Vietnam and Korea, World War II, the big wars. So this song we call Chief Song, Hangman Song. Let us close with one prayer. So we know that's the Lord's Prayer, we'll say it in our language, just to be able to hear the Spokane language. Kaila au, tlun stitch maska to quiltsi, ask west cooks menstum, coach elstel yachts boos, arts and tells kaks uli elst uli, het sitting stitch masket. Kaya with the silt and cracks the absenum. Kaya swell look out wheel, just can't play the swell them. Loot wheel can't play. Oh, sheetled. Talk is question with a kaya between die, coming to heal. That word for heaven, stitch musket means sky, but also means heaven, stitch musket. So I just share the little prayer with you as well. Shai hoi lemners, that's all. Thank you.